Hello, this is wmpyr. In this video, I want to respond back to an email question that I got recently, which basically had to do with wrist conditioning. Okay, so if you have been watching my videos and stuff, first let me just say thank you for studying the material, and I really applaud anyone that is willing to take the jump to actually studying and learning the art. Okay, and that being said, let me just say that it does take a long time. It's not going to come overnight. Just a few days is not going to cut it, all right? Especially if you want to get to quality. It will take a long time. Back when I started, my wrists were very weak. It took me years until I could do some of the more crazier moves and stuff, just because it would really hurt. I didn't have the kind of mobility and strength to be able to sustain this kind of force. It would start to hurt really, really bad. And I wasn't able to practice the crazy moves over and over again, because that's exactly what you need to do to get better, is you need to put in repetitions. And it would just be too painful, and I didn't have that kind of endurance to be able to keep practicing that. It was just too much strain, okay? So like I said, it took me years until I could do that. So in the meantime, what can you do? There's basically two things that you could do right now, okay? Of course, you got to keep practicing and work your way up there, okay? And let me tell you, it's worth it. It really is fun, and it's basically, it's one of those where it takes a lifetime to master, and I think it's a great activity. But, all right, so the first thing that you can do is you could do conditioning exercises, okay? So this is the stuff, like basically where you're making circular motions like this, okay? Where you're just going you're going in one direction, and then you're going to go in the reverse direction, okay? This is a very good warm-up exercise. And another one is you could hold the stick right here around the middle and just go back and forth like this rapidly, all right? And as you do that, you're going to feel that if you go really fast and hard, that there is a strain on the forearm. So don't overdo it, but definitely include this in your daily exercise. And as you get better, you can move away from the middle, okay, and start to go this way. You see, this is going to make the strain even bigger because the leverage is larger, all right? I remember that Professor Remy Presas had said to my instructor that these kinds of circular motion exercises need to be done every day to make the wrist stronger and to condition the wrist. I remember he said that to my instructor because my instructor apparently tried to wrist lock Professor Remy Presas, and he wasn't able to do so, which was a surprise to my instructor because he pretty much felt like he could wrist lock just about anyone on the planet. And when he wasn't able to do so, this was one of the responses I believe that Professor Remy Presas gave, is that, and he said it for all the students in the class, is for us to work on the wrist conditioning and make it stronger. The second thing that you can do is, this is one of the things that you're naturally going to develop if you've been practicing long enough, is that just like a boxer or a kickboxer or even an MMA fighter, one of the things that a professional fighter learns is, as they get more experienced, they learn how to fight when they're tired, okay? So the same with Filipino martial arts, okay? When your wrist is going to start to get tired because you've been, doing this kind of stuff all day long, all right, or practicing for an hour or two, your wrist's going to start to get tired. And when that happens, right, you can lock your wrist and do your moves to where you're not using the wrist. Now it's arm, okay? So I'm using arm right here, and I'm not using, you see, even though I'm using arm right here, I'm using arm and wrist. You see this? See, this has a lot of wrist right here, but then I would take that away, and even if I'm doing a figure eight motion, I would limit that, okay? Even if it's a circular motion, my wrist is not moving right here. So that's one of the things that you can do so that you can keep practicing, yet conserve your wrist in that sense until it kind of like recuperates, and then you can slowly go back again to these figure eight type exercises where you're just going 1, 2. See, now this is wrist exercise, and then go back to this way. All right, so the main message here that you could actually get out of this from a technical perspective is that One way to do the techniques is arm motion, like this, where you're using your arms mainly as your power source to strike, okay? Number two is where you're mainly going to be using your wrists, like this, as a power source to strike. And then number three is to combine the two, where you are using your arm, but you are using wrist as well. So being able to do those three, first you need to be able to distinguish and practice each one separately, and then you mix them in. So that'll also make you technically better and will allow you to train longer, because once again, if your wrist starts to get tired, then you can switch to arm-only movements. So anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.